Let me tell you something. What we witnessed, what the Indiana Pacers were staring down the barrel of, was nothing short of a basketball abyss. Down by an almost insurmountable 35 points, 35, against a team clicking on all cylinders. The body language of the Pacers players was, frankly, pitiful. Shoulders slumped, heads down. You could see the doubt, the frustration, the sheer "how did we get here?" etched on their faces. Commentators, so-called experts, were already writing the Pacers' obituary for this game. They had moved on. Can you believe the audacity? To count out a team with that much heart, that much pride? But oh, how that narrative was about to be ripped up, torn to shreds and rewritten in bold, beautiful blue and gold. Coach Carlisle on the sideline looked like a man trying to solve an impossible riddle with the clock ticking down to zero. What can you even say in the huddle when you're down by that much? It seemed like a lost cause. The energy was sucked out of the building. The opposing fans, those few who had traveled, were starting to get loud, their cheers echoing in the stunned silence of the home crowd. But sometimes, just sometimes, the darkest night comes just before the dawn. Now, you cannot talk about Indiana Pacers comebacks. You simply cannot without invoking the name of the legend himself, Reggie Miller, the man who defined clutch. Remember 1995, Madison Square Garden? 8 points in 9 seconds, 9 seconds. That wasn't just a comeback, that was a basketball heist. So, as the team sat there, absorbing that monumental deficit, you have to believe that somewhere, deep in the DNA of that arena, Reggie Miller's spirit was stirring. His ghost, metaphorically speaking of course, was probably pacing the sidelines whispering, "It ain't over till it's over." That legacy, that history of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, it matters. Then it happened. Just a small thing, really. A single play. Insignificant in the grand scheme of a 35-point mountain, or so it seemed. But sometimes that's all it takes. A spark. A flicker. The star point guard, let's call him Flash Jackson, who had been struggling all night, turnover after turnover, missed shot after missed shot, finally drove to the basket. He absorbed contact, he threw up a prayer, and it went in. And one. The crowd, bless their loyal hearts, managed a polite applause, nothing earth-shattering, but Flash, he pumped his fist, just a little one. That free throw, swish. Now everybody loves to talk about the offensive explosion in a comeback, the threes raining down, the highlight reel dunks, and yes, we'll get to that, but let me tell you something, and you better listen good, no comeback, and I mean no comeback of this magnitude, happens without defense. Dogged, tenacious, suffocating defense. The kind of defense that makes the other team uncomfortable. The kind of defense that forces turnovers, that leads to easy buckets in transition. Section 5. The offensive onslaught raining buckets, rising hopes, and then, with the defense fueling the fire, the offense absolutely exploded. It was like a dam bursting. All that frustration, all that pent-up energy, it just unleashed itself in a torrent of points. Flash Jackson, remember him? The guy who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn earlier? He was now a human flamethrower. Pull-up threes, driving layups, acrobatic finishes. He was unconscious, he couldn't miss. He was playing with a freedom, a joy that was infectious. The ball was moving, zipping around the perimeter, finding the open man. It was poetry in motion. It wasn't just Flash, though. Everybody got in on the act. The general Marcus Thorne, after that tone-setting block, started hitting those crucial mid-range jumpers, the ones that just break an opponent's spirit. The young sharpshooter off the bench, let's call him Deadeye Davis, came in and knocked down 3 consecutive three-pointers. 3! The roof nearly came off the place. Section 6. Heartbeats and Heroes, the final frantic minutes, the fourth quarter. Oh, the glorious, terrifying, heart-stopping fourth quarter. Every possession felt like life or death. Every shot was magnified. Every turnover was a potential catastrophe. The lead, which the Pacers had clawed their way back to diminish, now hovered precariously. Back and forth they went. The opponents, to their credit, didn't completely fold. They were a good team after all. They hit some tough shots. They tried to stem the tide. But the Pacers, fueled by that insane momentum and the roaring crowd, just wouldn't be denied. They answered every punch with a counterpunch. Players were leaving it all on the floor. Section 7. The miracle shot etched forever in Hoosier hearts. Down by 2. 7 seconds left on the clock. 7 seconds to complete the most improbable, the most mind-boggling, the most audacious comeback in NBA history. The opponents had just hit a tough contested jumper to retake the lead. You could feel the air momentarily sucked out of the arena, a collective gasp of "oh no, not now." But there was no time for despair. The Pacers called their final timeout. Coach Carlisle gathered his troops. "What do you draw up? What do you say?" The weight of the world, or at least the state of Indiana, was on their shoulders. The play was designed for Flash Jackson. Of course it was. He had been their talisman all second half, but the opponents knew that too. They were going to double team him, triple team him if they had to. Section 8. A comeback for the ages redefining Pacers grit. The aftermath? Pure ecstasy. The locker room celebration was reportedly legendary. Champagne, or whatever they celebrate with these days, was flying. Players were dancing, singing, overcome with emotion. Coach Carlisle, usually so stoic, was seen with a grin wider than the Wabash River. He told the media later, "I've been in this league a long time. I've seen a lot of things. I have never seen anything like that." That was heart. That was belief. That was Pacers basketball. And he was absolutely right. This wasn't just a fluke. This was a statement. Fans poured out into the streets of Indianapolis, honking horns, chanting, "Pacers, Pacers!"